ES Audio.
Hi, I'm Rochelle Travers, and this is the Evening Standard's Tech and Science Daily. Coming up, icebergs ahead. Now, let's get into it. The Security Minister has not ruled out a ban on TikTok in the UK over fears about the Chinese-owned app. Tom Tugendhat says he is awaiting on a review from the National Cybersecurity Centre before deciding on the hugely important question. Under pressure from some senior MPs, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has hinted that Britain could follow the US and the EU by banning the social media app from government phones and devices. TikTok has long argued that it does not share data with China, but Chinese intelligence legislation requires firms to assist the Communist Party when requested. It's hoped a study linking 500 genes to lung function for the first time could lead to new treatments for things like asthma and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease.
We think that this is quite a big step forward that will hopefully stimulate the kind of investment and research by pharmaceutical companies to develop new treatments for respiratory disease.
Martin Tobin is Professor of Genetic Epidemiology and Public Health at the University of Leicester and ran the study. He told us the research could lead to drugs used to treat other conditions actually being redeveloped to tackle lung disease.
Our genetic variants effectively act as mimics for what a drug can do. Using evidence from genetic studies, we can understand whether there's opportunities to repurpose those drugs to respiratory diseases.
Martin says that although it will be some time before his research leads to new treatments, it could speed up their development.
What the pharmaceutical companies are now showing is that where they use evidence from genomic studies such as this one, they can shorten the time frame for drug development, and they can also save money which ultimately impacts on what we pay as taxpayers for new therapies in the NHS.
Now, a landmark deal between the US, Australia and the UK will create a new generation of nuclear-powered submarines based on a British design. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak said the partnership would deliver one of the most advanced submarines the world has ever known. And new vessels are due to be in operation by the late 2030s after a construction phase which will create thousands of UK jobs. The UK's submarines will mainly be built by BAE Systems and Rolls-Royce. The deal is aimed at countering China's influence in the Indo-Pacific region, and Beijing has strongly criticised the move. Scientists are tracking two huge icebergs. One the size of Greater London and the other even larger one the size of Cornwall, due to concerns they could hit shipping, fishing and wildlife. The biggest one, named A76A, measures over 3,000 square kilometres and originated from the Filchner Ronne ice shelf in May 2021. The smaller one, called A81, detached from the Brunt ice shelf in January, having defied scientists' predictions who expected it to break off several years ago. Icebergs can roll over and lose their snow layers, making them less visible to ships. But the International Ice Patrol, set up after the Titanic sank, are on hand. They track icebergs and share reports with ships twice a day to avoid any collisions. US President Joe Biden has approved a controversial $8 billion oil and gas drilling project in Alaska called the Willow Project. Located on the state's remote North Slope, it is the largest oil development in the region for decades, and it's estimated to produce up to 180,000 barrels of oil a day. According to the US Bureau of Land Management estimates, that means it will generate up to 278 million metric tons of CO2e over its 30-year lifetime, the equivalent of adding 2 million cars on roads every year. The Willow Project has received huge backlash from environmentalists over its potential impact to the climate and to wildlife, but those who back the project say it will create local investment and thousands of jobs. Let's go to the ads. Coming up, Microsoft lays off its entire ethical AI development team, and why apes spin until they're dizzy to get high. Welcome back. It's reported Microsoft has laid off its entire team responsible for ethical artificial intelligence development. The job cuts were part of the firm's recent layoffs that affected around 10,000 employees. It comes after the company's push to expand its integration of AI tools within its Bing search engine. However, Microsoft has allegedly said it is increasing its overall investment in responsibility work, adding that it's committed to developing AI-powered products by investing in people, processes, and partnerships. Scientists have discovered why breast cancer cells that have spread to the lungs may wake up after years of sleep and form incurable tumours. The research funded by Breast Cancer Now and published in the journal Nature showed how molecular changes that occur during aging can support the growth of secondary tumours. According to the findings, a protein which is present in the lungs plays a key role in influencing whether inactive breast cancer cells stay asleep or wake up. The researchers say this brings scientists a step closer to slowing down the process or stopping it altogether. And finally, clip there from the University of Warwick and Custody safaris. It shows an ape spinning themselves around repeatedly from a tree branch, much to spectators' amusement. Now, it might look a bit silly, but researchers found they're actually doing this on purpose, to make themselves dizzy. A study analysed 40 online videos of great apes and found that on average the primates revolved 5.5 times per episode of spinning, with the average speed 1.5 revolutions per second, doing this on average 3 times. Academics at the University of Warwick and the University of Birmingham say this behaviour could provide clues about how humans evolved to seek altered mental states to actively manipulate their mood and perception of reality. You're up to date. Come back at 4 p.m. for the Leader podcast from the Evening Standard. We'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. See you then.